Good day, fellow Titans, Hunters, and Warlocks. My name is Telric, and welcome to my review of the Destiny 2 beta. After almost a week of being able to play the newest addition to the Destiny universe, I wanted to put down my thoughts on the beta in a constructive fashion. I say constructive because I'm seeing far too many people on the internet doing nothing but trashing Destiny 2 over what they experienced in the beta. Each person to their own opinion, but being full of vitriol on the topic doesn't make for a better game or a better community. Having said that, I'll be honest and say there is a few things I'm disappointed with, a couple changes I'm very frustrated by, and about a dozen items that make me excited to play this game. So, let me get my frustrations out of the way first, and then I'll dig into why I am still excited for Destiny 2. I will be honest and say that I came very close to canceling my pre-order of Destiny 2. The couple areas of the game that made me frustrated and disappointed were so strong, I considered just dumping my pre-order and picking the game up off the store shelf once the first weekend had ended. But someone close to me reminded me that I have never in my life not enjoyed a single Bungie game I've ever played. And that was a good reminder for me of how much I truly enjoy the products Bungie puts out. So, I'm still on track to play this game on the first day. But, I will dig into my biggest disappointment playing the beta, and that is that I didn't get the feeling of powerful mystique we have all come to expect and love in Destiny. That feeling of a resurrected warrior who lays waste to gods and demons who threaten the last city. That was a huge draw for players into Destiny 1. That feeling of space magic. We were the destroyers of Atheon, slayers of Oryx, bane of Crota, arch nemesis to Axis. It's a little difficult to put into words, but the very heavy reliance upon your kinetic and energy weapons and not having your super very often seemed to diminish the power of your character in the beta. It wasn't as fun, to put it simply. Case in point, I wanted to fight the Cabal with a Dawnblade multiple times during the Homecoming story mission, but I found myself hoarding it instead of enjoying it because the recharge was so slow. I have to imagine that these reductions in abilities is a direct result of Bungie trying to balance the Crucible as the last 6 months of Destiny 1 had turned into the greatest grenade spamming meta I have ever seen or can ever remember. And I personally feel that Bungie went a little bit too far. Tuning down the amount of times in Crucible you can use your grenades and supers is okay for trying to make a competitive PvP experience, but it makes for a dry and boring game in the world of fighting aliens and demons. Maybe the story itself is a driving force in this reduction in abilities as we have lost access to the Traveler, but in my gut, I actually doubt that. Now, having said this, I don't think the final release is going to have this problem. I truly believe Bungie is going to make this game a really enjoyable and challenging experience for us. So, as much as I am disappointed in this area of the beta, it is a beta, and I do believe this will be fixed. I do believe Bungie will improve that feeling of space magic. Another area I'm not a fan of is the reduction in perk options for subclasses and weapons. Granted, I think the RNG element of what you could get on a weapon was way too high if you were looking for that god tier weapon in Destiny 1. But on the flip side, there were plenty of different options you could try out if you wanted to give it a shot. That in itself was a fun experience, just trying out oddball perk combos. The same applies to subclasses in Destiny. In D2, we are seeing a reduction in options to streamline the subclasses. You now have 2 subclass trees with 4 perks each. In Destiny 1, you could flip perk combinations around to create stupid, pure, fun PvE builds, your best raid setup, or even the ultimate trials build. But it was your choice how you did it. I personally am not a fan of being keyholed into playing my character a certain way, and the reduction in perk options in Destiny 2 is one that I'm not a fan of. My last gripe about the beta is the Crucible. There are 2 areas here I'm going to hit on, but before I dig into them, let me lay some groundwork. To me, there are different kinds of people who play Crucible or PvP in a shooter game. There is one, the playmaker. This is the highly competitive player, the guy or gal who can jump into trials and clutch the 1 versus 3 scenario and pull out a win. Second, the competitor. This is the person who loves to work with a team and develop tactics and strong communications in order to win tournaments, or even on a smaller scale, have a clan night where they beat team after team of randoms and blueberries. Third, the social gamer. This is the person who plays Crucible with friends because they just want to hang out and laugh at the idiot warlock who fell off a cliff after picking up heavy ammo. They're not there to improve to be the top tier player of all time, but to just have fun and get excited over that big triple kill they got with their super. Fourth, the Lobo. This is the lone wolf, the one who enjoys playing by himself and uses that time on his own to improve his skills and hit personal goals by working on his game and his stats. And some people are even Lobos just because of the scenario of they don't have the ability to hook up with friends or their clan and invest that time in a social game, and so they queue up on their own. I personally define myself as a Lobo. I have a weird real-life schedule, and I am unable to spend as much time as I'd like playing with my friends and clan. My biggest complaint about the beta is the huge emphasis that has been placed on team shooting and teamwork in Destiny 2. In my opinion, it hurts 3 out of the 4 different kinds of Crucible players I just listed, and forces them to be more of the competitor. It feels as if Bungie, in an attempt to make the game better for the competitor, has forced all the other types of players into being more like the competitor. A part of this is the reduction in size of the matches from 6 versus 6 to the traditional MLG 4 versus 4 size. Another example of this ties into my earlier complaint about feeling less powerful as a Guardian, that the reduction in abilities is forcing us to be a certain type of PvP player. Recently, I had a game I played in Destiny 1 where I went off and got a 25 kill streak and was able to turn the tide of a single game by just being in the zone and making play after play after play. I'm very much afraid that those days of single-handedly turning the tide are gone with this very team-oriented style we are seeing in Destiny 2. I think the emphasis of team shooting and cooperative play has hurt the players who are big playmakers and social players who just want to have fun, and it hurts solo players like myself who don't have a reliable team available to them. Now, please don't take my statement out of context and think for a moment that I'm advocating for mayhem-style PvP or even the ability spamming we are seeing in Destiny 1 right now. But we still need to have a fun experience in Crucible by being able to use our supers a bit more often and have the ability to pull off huge plays when given the opportunity, not just relying on team shooting 100% of the time and turning every match into a sweatfest. My other huge grief with the beta Crucible is the stats system and scoring. I am, as a person, a huge numbers addict. I have to use and memorize numbers for my job. I also really enjoy sports stats, and I love the precision of mathematics. As a Lobo gamer, I use the stats in Destiny to keep track of how I'm playing and what I need to improve on. Is my KD up or down? Did I have a lot of deaths in that last match? If so, maybe I was too aggressive. Did I have a lot of assists and not a lot of kills? Well, maybe that's a reminder to me that I'm using the wrong weapon for that map or game mode and I'm not finishing off my targets. Maybe, did I capture a lot of zones in control? If I didn't, maybe that's a reminder to me to be a little bit more objective-oriented instead of Slayer-oriented. This is how end-of-game stats are helpful to a player like me. The raw numbers tell me a lot about how I can improve as a player, not just general efficiency. In addition to that, I'm not a fan of the shared kill system for Destiny 2. You didn't get a kill or assist, you simply defeated the enemy. Does it change your stat line? No, but it feels cheap. I play Destiny to become legend, to fulfill a fantasy, to be the Guardian, to become an Iron Lord. Being credited for a 10 combo streak instead of a 10 kill streak does not feel the same. I personally hate participation trophies. Either give me the kill or give me the assist, but do not patronize me as a player. Having said all that, and I know that sounded pretty aggressive, if Bungie continues to provide full stats on their website, or if we are still able to track those stats on other tracker sites, then some of my frustration will be muted and I will learn to adapt. It won't be as bad as I'm making it out to be right now. But as someone who loved the scoring and stat system for Destiny 1, if those raw numbers are no longer available in some form or fashion for Destiny 2, I'm going to be deeply frustrated. Okay, that's my rant, and I want to get off the negatives and focus on the positives we saw. Big things I'm excited for are, first off, the music. And don't be surprised, I am a huge lover of orchestras and symphonies. I could listen for hours to the works of the classical composers such as Beethoven and Haydn. Great soundtracks make for great movies and even better video games. I have no shame in telling you that I own every Halo and Destiny soundtrack that Bungie has produced. I love the music, especially the early music from Destiny 1 and the very recent Rise of Iron soundtrack. And just the small sampling we've heard for Destiny 2 has me itching to hear more. I think it's going to be awesome. Speaking of sounds, plugging in my headset and listening to the sounds of Nessus as you do the strike was very satisfying. The chaos of the Vex and Cabal fighting is interesting as you can pick up the different dynamics of the different characters engaged in combat. If you stop and listen as you do the Homecoming story mission, you can hear the crackling of burning debris and the spatter of the rain on the stone. Whoever did the sound suite for the game did a great job, and I couldn't be happier about it. Another part of the game we've only gotten a very small taste of was the characters in the game. Of course you have Zavala, Ikora, Cayde, and your Ghost, but the snippets of dialogue we got from the new character called Failsafe have me super curious to know who or what this character is.
Commander, your favorite AI is ready to go. I'm tapped into the Vex network. According to their data, the Cabal have set off a series of quakes at the Nessus core. As if my life wasn't hard enough already.
What about what happened to the speaker? Did the Cabal kill Raoul? And personally, I hope so. Who is Hawthorne? Ghaul as the primary antagonist seems very well thought out and intriguing. I want to fight this guy. What happened to Lord Saladin and Shiro 6 and the Iron Temple? I want to find out more concerning the many characters of Destiny. Along that line, the story seems much more cohesive, and this has me excited. I want to experience the campaign and really dive into the story and where it goes in us getting our power back and finding a way to defeat Ghaul. The number of cutscenes that were interspersed with the Homecoming mission really have me crossing my fingers that we have that size of cinematic delivery and story throughout the campaign in every mission. Another aspect of the game is the sheer size of the PvE areas we can go to. If you experience the inverted strike, it felt big. Everything about that strike felt big. The size of the planet, the open skybox, the final boss, it was big and it felt great. I had this almost insatiable itch to just walk off and start walking around and completely ignoring the strike and seeing where different holes and ledges go and how many nooks and crannies I could explore. This is super exciting for me. Bungie has hinted quite a bit about quests, adventures, lost sectors, and even more to experience in doing these worlds, and I can't wait. Customization of weapons and ships and ghosts. Hey, shaders! We didn't get to see a lot of the mod system for Destiny 2, but I am rife with hope for the potential of this customization system. Putting that particular mod on your weapon that makes it uniquely yours, or blinging out your favorite ship in a cool color, or just as in Destiny 1, finding that perfect armor set and pairing it with an amazing shader is a feature I'm really looking forward to in D2. Right along that alley is emotes and emblems. I think that there is going to be some awesome things to collect in Destiny 2. Strikes and raids, I think, are going to be bigger, more interesting, and more story involved in Destiny 2. And that has me pumped. The inverted spire strike had a great size to it in the beta, and the story elements that it hinted at had me wanting to experience other strikes on that scope and flavor. On top of this, Bungie has been super hush-hush about the raid, and considering the size of raids in Destiny 1 and the size of environments in the beta, I am imagining a very big raid when it is finally released, and I think it's going to be great. Finally, the game just looks good. The artwork that Bungie has put into the game is wonderful. It has great skyboxes and colors, and the environment shapes just call to me as a player to jump in and fully experience these worlds. Bungie again has done a great job making their game have an amazing aesthetic to it that few developers have ever mastered. Destiny 2 is very appealing to the eye. I'm excited to see all these new locations. The European Dead Zone has long been a desired destination for old Destiny players. The other locations of Nessus and Titan and Io are really interesting. They're really intriguing, and I want to explore them. In conclusion, I think I've come to the realization that Destiny 2 is to Destiny 1 what Halo 3 was to Halo Reach. And you may be scratching your head at that statement, but let me explain. I love the Halo games Bungie produced. Don't even mention to me the Halo games Microsoft and 343 created. Those need to be thrown in a sack full of bricks and tossed in a lake. But I still to this day love the story Halo 3 told and the absolutely iconic ending of that game and how it wrapped up that trilogy. It was fabulous. I also love Halo Reach, but less for the story and more for the PvP. The multiplayer in Reach was so much fun and so diverse, and it's where I really started to improve my skill as a player. But I love those two games for different reasons. Destiny 1 had a multiplayer Crucible experience that I loved and still enjoy even today. The times I had playing Clash, Control, and Rift in Destiny 1 are my fondest memories, aside from some amazing raids. But I think for Destiny 2, the thing I'm going to love most is not the Crucible this time around, but the story and exploration of these huge open worlds. This, I think, is where Destiny 2 is going to make me excited, and I may take a more relaxed approach to the Crucible. Now, don't get me wrong. I will always have a hand in the Crucible and will be working to improve as a player. But I'm not as excited for the Crucible as much this time. I'm really looking forward to poking my head down holes and seeing if there are any cave trolls in them hiding treasures or clues to Golden Age mysteries. And this is where I think Destiny 2 is going to shine. Now, on top of all this, I'm going to reiterate what you hear from every video right now. It's a beta. It's a beta, and things can change. But this is my initial reaction to what I'm seeing in Destiny 2's beta and what I think may or may not be coming down the pipe in the final release. Well, if you made it all the way through this video, I appreciate your time and patience in listening to my opinions. Please don't be afraid to leave your opinion in the comments down below, or if you want a more direct conversation with me, you can contact me on Twitter at Telric87. Thank you again for your time, and I hope to see you in Destiny 2.